Rachel, and today I'm going to be reviewing a collection for you that's featuring a brand that is new to my channel. Well, not new to my channel, but new to me reviewing it on my channel. I've got ILNP's fall collection for 2024. I actually have kind of two of their collections, I guess. There's the Vineyard collection, which is a collection of 6 gorgeous jelly holographics. Y'all know that is my favorite finish from ILNP. Like pretty much all the ILNPs I have, which are back here, are in that finish. So when I heard that that's what this collection was going to be, I was so excited. And then I also have one called the Campground collection, which is part of their Studio Color line, which is a line of cream shades. So that one's a 4-piece collection, and all the colors I'm sharing with you today are more like earthy, muted fall tones, and it's getting me excited for cooler weather. So in today's video, I'm going to show you live swatches of each shade, give you a little review on them, and then show you what they look like out in natural light. If I have comparisons for this collection, I will also include those. And I guess I should say when these are going to release. They're going to launch on August 30th, which is a Friday. I'll link down in the description box all the links you need to shop this collection. All right, we've got 10 beautiful shades to check out, so let's take a look. All right, so I kind of tried to group them together by color. We're starting off with the red in the collection, which is called Merlot. It's described as being a jelly with a sultry wine red base and scattered holographic flakes. So that bottle shot was color accurate. This application is not, and I'm sorry. In a little bit, we'll see though a full hand swatch in natural lighting, and that will be color accurate. So here it's coming off a lot more of a cherry red, but you can see the formula is great, really smooth, even coverage, so it would be great for layering if you like to do that. In 2 coats, it was very pigmented and beautiful, but I did need that 3rd coat to completely conceal my nail line, and that's going to hold true for all of the jellies in this collection. That just really helps those holographic flakies pop against the base color. So here are 3 coats with a glossy top coat, really beautiful, super duper vampy. And here's what it looks like out in natural lighting. Oh, I really enjoy these kinds of rich, delicious reds for fall. Oh my goodness. I could wear them all fall season. There's something so just like comforting, but like, you know, sultry about them. They're gorgeous. So I did add a comparison here. You can see I have nothing like it in my ILNP collection. The closest thing is this new shade called Honeymoon that we're going to look at here in just a little bit, but all the other ILNPs that I have are a lot deeper and richer than Merlot is. And then the next shade in this collection is called Honeymoon. We just saw it in that comparison. This one's also a jelly. They all have the same description. And this one is described as being a luscious, deep berry with scattered holographic flakes. So on the first coat, it looks kind of pinky, but as you build it up, it gets deeper and darker. Again, we're seeing a really beautiful, smooth, even formula. I was really pleased with how these applied. In 2 coats, you get a richer color, but there's still quite a bit of visible nail line. However, in 3, it was completely opaque, and it was this gorgeous, deep, rich berry. Oh, I, again, could live in these shades all fall long. They're just so beautiful, and the holographic sparkles amazingly against that deep, rich base color. In some overcast lighting, you can see it is a rich, beautiful red leaning purple. I really, really loved how the holographic flakes popped against this deeper color. I just thought it was gorgeous. So I did some comparisons for this shade as well. Again, I just thought I'd have something similar because I really, really enjoy these berry colors, but I don't have anything like it in my ILNP collection. I guess color-wise it was closest to Love Language, but Love Language is a linear hollow, so obviously they're very different. And next we have the pink in the collection, which is called Rosalie. It's a jelly as well, and it's described as being a delicate rosy blush with scattered holographic flakes. Rosalie had the most sheer base out of this collection. I was very shocked when I applied that first coat just how little my nail line was covered. I was really pleased on that second coat when it started building up a little bit, but this one did have a little bit of visible nail line for me in 3 coats, and if you've got longer nails, I imagine you'd have even more visible nail line than I did. If your nails are shorter, there's a chance you would get full opacity in 3 coats, but otherwise you're going to want to pair this with a blurring base coat if that's not your thing. So really beautiful color here. It's definitely warm leaning, and personally I prefer my pinks a little bit cooler. So if I was being honest, this was my least favorite out of the collection. That all boils down to personal preference though. This is a really beautiful warm pink shade if that's what you like. Very flattering. And yeah, this is in sunlight here so you can see how pretty that holographic is. And now for something completely different, well, color-wise. This one's Grapevine. It's also a jelly, and it's a deep Concord grape with scattered holographic flakes. So this one really threw me color-wise because everything else in this collection is really like screaming warm tones. And then we have this like cool chilly purple, which it is a Vineyard collection, so this makes sense. But it just took me by surprise. I love that they included it though because it is beautiful. It's the next runner-up to be in my top picks. I tried to narrow it down to 3 from this collection, but if I went back and refilmed that outro, I would add this to my favorites because it's so beautiful. 3 coats, you can see you get this beautiful blurple color. Those holographic flakies, again, sparkle in that deep base color, and I think it's beautiful. Up close, I could see some visible nail line, but in real life, when my hands were at a normal distance, I didn't notice it at all. If your nails are longer than mine, though, it might be more apparent. So here's 3 coats with a glossy top coat and some overcast outdoor lighting. Just a really beautiful, flattering, cool shade of purple. I don't know. In hindsight, I feel like this is maybe like top 2 for me. I really, really love this shade. And then last minute, I remembered to compare this to Set Sail, which is very, very close. I would say that Grapevine is just the slightest bit more purple than Set Sail. It's very subtle. And the next shade is called Countryside. This one is a jelly as well, and it's got a charming olive green base with scattered holographic flakes. So yeah, it's described as being an olive green, and it looks olive in the bottle, but on my nails, you'll see, you can already kind of see on the first coat, it does not look olive brown. It looks straight up pruggly. Like it is this interesting greeny brown. I was so not expecting it, and I actually really loved it. I thought it was super interesting, very unique, and I loved it. It didn't have the most even application. I think I could have gone on with a little bit more polish because here in my live application, my live swatch, you can see a little bit of visible nail line. You could not when I built this up in 3 coats when I put it on otherwise. So I should have gone in for 3 regular coats instead of 3 thin coats. But yeah, it just takes on this really interesting grungy green color that I was so not expecting. This was a standout for me as well, just because it was so different than everything else in this collection. And I think I really applaud ILNP for doing colors that are a little bit less conventional. And then the final shade in this collection is called Hidden Path. This is jelly as well, and it's a warm mahogany brown with scattered holographic flakes. I wanted to add as well that because these are scattered holographic flakes, they will not be difficult to remove. These came off very easily with just regular nail polish remover. However, those flakes do tend to stick to your skin a little bit, so it's kind of messy, but not difficult. On application, this one kind of reminded me of Rosalie just because it was so sheer. Got just a little bit of pigmentation on that first coat, but it was pretty even and easy to work with. And luckily on that second coat, it did build up pretty well for me. It's pulling a little bit orange here in my live application video, and in general when I wore this it did look kind of orangey, not nearly as orange as it's coming up on camera. I tried to color correct it a little bit, but it did come up off on me on my skin tone as like a brownie, very warm caramely orangey brown. If that makes any sense. So 3 coats. I reached full opacity. We're super duper close to it. If there was any visible nail line, it wasn't very noticeable. And then here's what it looks like in some overcast natural lighting. Really beautiful color. Not my favorite kind of brown on myself. I typically prefer something just a little bit deeper, but it was a nice shade. And I think a lot of people will really enjoy this kind of color. And then again, in my head, these were a lot more similar than they actually were. You can see that Hidden Path, it's much more orange leaning. It's a lot lighter than the other 2 shades shown here. And moving on now to the Campground collection, which is a 4-piece collection of creams. This first shade is called Chocolate, and it's described as being a chocolate brown with a fluid buildable formula. So I was really pleased with this shade of brown. You're going to see here in a little bit, I'm going to compare it to some other browns I have from other brands, and this one was my favorite. I just felt like the undertones for it were super neutral, and on top of that, I've never tried the Studio Color line from ILNP. I've just never been interested in their creams. It felt really nice going on. It was a little on the thicker side, but it was smooth and super silky. Like, the word silky was the word that just kept going through my mind. I loved the application. And also the paddle brush. Can we get those on the jellies, please? It was a fabulous paddle brush, and I want it in all of their polishes. I don't know why they just put them in the creams. But here's the 2 coats of chocolate. Y'all, is this not the prettiest shade of brown? Like, I felt like, honestly, it was so flattering. Just perfect. Absolutely, absolutely beautiful. So here are some other chocolatey browns I have in my collection. In this comparison, for some reason, the KB Shimmer is coming off very red. It is slightly more red leaning than chocolate from ILNP, but not that big of a difference. Like I said, tonally, ILNP is my favorite, although the KB Shimmer had the better formula. The ILNP had a nice enough formula to be a 2-coater, so I'm not complaining. The next shade is called Treetop, and this one is a moss green with a fluid buildable formula. This one had the same beautiful buildable formula that chocolate had. It was great on that first coat, super smooth and even, but you can see a little bit sheer. I was pleased when it built up here on that second coat really, really nicely, and got to see that gorgeous olivey green color in the bottle. Again, I found this color to be incredibly flattering. I didn't have very many of these kind of olive green creams because it's a color that I personally stay away from a little bit, but now I might actually wear them because this one was really, really nice. So 2 coats got me full opacity. If you've got longer nails, you might need 3. For this one, it's possible, but I think most will be good in 2. So here's 2 coats of Treetop with a glossy top coat and some sunlight. Again, just a stunning color. So beautiful, very flattering. I absolutely loved it. And the only other olive green cream I could find in my collection is Orally's Wild Willow, which you can see is a lot more yellow leaning. So if you don't like the yellowness of that one, you may really enjoy Treetop. Next, we're going to look at Truffle. This one's described as being a blackened truffle with a buildable formula. Wow. I was not thinking I was going to like this one. Like, when I unboxed this collection, I thought this would be my least favorite. I really like this. It probably is the most likely to need 3 coats, although if you do a thicker second coat like I do, you might be okay in 2. I think there's a more likely chance that you'll need a 3rd coat with this shade. Going back in hindsight, I feel like I can see a little bit of patchiness there, although overall it looks pretty great. So I would wear this in 3 coats. So here are 2 coats, though, of Truffle with a glossy top coat. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's almost black. I don't usually like that, but it's like just a little bit gray and smoky and charcoal, and oh, I just loved it. I felt like it was very classy. And I wanted to show you it in lower lighting. Yeah, in lower lighting it looks black. So if that's where you kind of hang out a lot, you might not love this. But if you're someone who's, enjoys almost black shades, this one was gorgeous. And when I saw it, I immediately thought of Essie Climbing High, which is another charcoal-y color I love. You can see it is quite a bit darker than Essie Climbing High, which is already dark. Again, I don't usually like shades like this, but I guess things are changing because I really, really love this. And then the last shade that is in this collection is called Mushroom, and it's a mushroom taupe with a fluid opaque formula. I was really wanting to try that opaque formula because I really liked the others, but I don't have it. It broke in transit. It's on its way to me, but I don't know when it's going to get here. So I will probably post a reel or short here on YouTube and on Instagram with some comparisons for you. But yeah, I really wanted to see this shade because I do like taupe. But I'll just have to wait. But here's what it looks like. Really pretty. So those were ILNP's Vineyard and Campground collections. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. You could probably already tell mine based on my commentary during the video, but I love these polishes, especially the Vineyard collection. I mean, these classic fall shades, I never tire of them. I personally find them super flattering on everyone, and there's something that's so cozy and relaxing about them. They just, like, when these came in the mail, I just wanted to grab a blanket and get some coffee. I love it. And I had a little bit of a hard time picking favorites from these two releases. Obviously, I did prefer the jelly holographic finish, the Vineyard collection, to the Campground collection just because we know, again, that finish from ILNP, that's what I think of when I think of the brand. And I'm so excited they've kind of gotten back to that. Like, I've always loved ILNP and their polishes have always been beautiful, but there for a while they were making just playing around with different finishes, which I really respect, but I kind of stopped buying from them a little bit, and these reminded me, oh my goodness, like why I love them so much. So favorites, all of my favorites come from the Vineyard collection. If I only had to choose 3, and I was very tempted to choose 4, but if I only had to choose 3, here's what they are. My first top pick has to be Honeymoon. I just love the richness and the vampiness of this gorgeous, like, aubergine purple shade. It's cozy, it's sultry, it's exactly what I look like in a fall color, and I think against these deeper, more rich base colors, the holographic really pops and sparkles. I have to say the same for Merlot. Similar feelings, very cozy, very warm, and the holographic just pops. I did question initially if these two belonged in a collection together. I mean, obviously Merlot is more red and Honeymoon is more purple, but they are pretty close. I was happy to see though when swatching them that they are obviously different enough to be included together. And then my last top pick was Countryside, this gorgeous like olive base color. I know ILNP has released some shades kind of similar to this in the past. I don't have them though. So this was really unique to my collection and I really enjoyed wearing it. It's another one I found to be very flattering. So those were my top picks. Let me know yours down in the comments. Are you gonna be grabbing any of these? And have you also been just so happy to see ILNP kind of like get back to its roots with these beautiful holographic releases? Because it just seriously makes my heart so happy. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!